You don't remember the exact second it happened. Betrayal never announces itself. It slips in quietly, like a door you forgot to lock. One moment you believe you're safe. The next, something inside you collapses. A word said behind your back. A promise broken when it mattered most. A loyalty you thought was solid suddenly turns to smoke. And in that instant, your body reacts before your mind does. Your chest tightens. Your stomach drops. Your thoughts race, searching for logic, excuses, meaning. You replay moments, conversations, smiles, trying to locate the crack you missed. You ask yourself the most dangerous question of all. How could they do this to me? You've carried this longer than you admit. You act fine. You tell people you've moved on. But the truth is quieter and heavier. Betrayal changes how you look at everyone after. It teaches you to watch hands, not faces, to listen for pauses, not words. It makes you feel stupid for trusting, weak for caring, ashamed for not seeing it sooner. And that shame sits deep. It whispers that you deserved it, that you were naive, that something about you invited the knife. This is where most people break. They react too fast. They confront. They beg for explanations. They demand closure. They explode in anger or collapse into grief. And every one of those reactions feels human, understandable, even justified. But Machiavelli would look at this moment and say something cold, something that cuts through comfort like a blade. He would say, this is not the moment to feel. This is the moment to see, because betrayal is not just an emotional wound. It is information. And the one who learns to read it gains something far more valuable than revenge. They gain power. Right now, you feel exposed, like something was taken from you. Trust, safety, certainty. But here is the forbidden truth no one tells you when your heart is still bleeding. Betrayal does not weaken you. Your response to it does. And if you handle it wrong, you don't just lose the person who betrayed you, you lose yourself. This is the moment your life begins to make sense. There is a reason betrayal hurts more than open attack. An enemy in front of you is honest. A betrayer hides behind closeness. They learn your habits, your fears, your blind spots. They earn access before they earn advantage. That means the pain you feel isn't just loss. It's the shock of realizing you were studied without knowing it. Most people want justice when they're betrayed. They want fairness. They want the other person to feel what they felt. But Machiavelli never cared about fairness. He cared about outcomes, and the outcome of emotional reaction is always the same. You reveal more than you should. You show where it hurt. You expose what you valued. You confirm their power over you. Think about it. The moment you confront a betrayer with raw emotion, what happens? They deny. They minimize. They rewrite history. Or worse, they watch you unravel and learn exactly how much control they still have. Your anger becomes proof that the betrayal worked. Your tears become confirmation that they mattered more than they deserved. You're not broken. You were never taught another way. From childhood, you were trained to believe honesty heals everything. That if you speak your truth, things will resolve. That confrontation brings closure. But power does not live in confession. Power lives in restraint. And betrayal is the test that separates those who react from those who rise. Here is what most people miss. Betrayal is rarely impulsive. It is almost always preceded by distance, resentment, envy, or fear. Something inside them shifted long before the act itself. That means when you discover the betrayal, you are already behind if you treat it like a sudden event. It was a process, and now, so is your response. You want answers. You want reasons. You want to hear them say sorry in a way that makes the pain stop. But listen carefully. Explanations never heal betrayal. They only rearrange the story so you can tolerate it. And tolerance is not power. Machiavelli understood something brutal. The betrayed who rush to clarity lose leverage. The betrayed who go silent regain it. Silence is not weakness here. Silence is recalibration. When you do not react immediately, you create a vacuum. And humans cannot stand vacuums. The betrayer begins to fill it with anxiety. They wonder what you know. They wonder what you're planning. They replay their own actions, searching for mistakes. Your stillness becomes a mirror they are forced to look into. This is where the shift begins. There is a moment after betrayal when your instincts scream at you to act, to say something, to do something, anything to stop the feeling of helplessness. This is the most dangerous moment of all, because instinct is emotional, and emotion in power dynamics is always exploitable. Machiavelli would tell you to do the opposite of what feels natural, not because he was cruel, but because he was accurate. He knew that the first move after betrayal defines the entire future of the relationship, whether it continues or ends. Your first move must be internal. You stop asking why, you start asking what this reveals. Betrayal reveals hierarchy. It shows you how they see you: equal, useful, disposable. It reveals their fears, their ambitions, their limits. Someone who betrays you believes one of two things. Either they think you will forgive them, or they think you cannot hurt them. Both beliefs are dangerous, and both can be corrected without a single word. This is where your power begins to return quietly. You detach emotionally, not permanently, but strategically. You observe your own feelings without acting on them. You let the anger burn without letting it speak. You let the grief sit without letting it beg. This is not suppression. This is control. And control is what you lost the moment you were betrayed. You survive things you still don't have words for. This is one of them. As you pull back, something strange happens. You start to see details you missed. The small changes in tone, the timing of messages, the way they justify themselves without being asked, the way they test your boundaries to see how much they can get away with. Betrayal sharpens perception if you let it. Most people numb this stage. They distract themselves. They talk too much. They seek validation from others. But Machiavelli would warn you, every person you explain this to becomes a leak. Every emotional vent is a map of your wounds, and information always travels further than you think. So you become still. Stillness confuses those who expected noise. It unsettles those who were counting on your pain to stay in control. When you don't react, the betrayer begins to reveal themselves further. They overcompensate, they justify, they grow defensive or strangely kind. Each behavior is data, and data is power. This is the first psychological shift. You are no longer the wounded. You are the observer. Here is the hidden threat no one warns you about. Betrayal doesn't end with the act, it evolves. If mishandled, it turns into a pattern. The first betrayal tests you, the second confirms you, and after that, it becomes your identity in their mind. People betray those they believe will stay. This is not about cruelty, it's about human nature. If someone crosses a line and nothing changes, the line disappears. And Machiavelli believed nothing destroys authority faster than tolerated violation. This is where many good people fail. They forgive too quickly. They explain their boundaries instead of enforcing them. They accept apologies without consequence. They confuse kindness with weakness and call it maturity. But what they are really doing is teaching others how to treat them. You're allowed to want more. Handling betrayal. The Machiavellian way does not mean revenge. Revenge is emotional and loud. It ties you to the betrayer longer than necessary. The goal is not to hurt them. The goal is to reposition yourself so they no longer have power over you, emotionally or strategically. And this is where distance becomes a weapon. You don't announce it, you don't threaten it, you simply withdraw access, your time, your warmth, your availability. You become polite, controlled, unreadable, not cold, just contained. This shift sends a message louder than confrontation ever could. Something has changed, and you are no longer safe to exploit. The betrayer feels it immediately. The energy they relied on is gone. The reassurance they expected doesn't come. They start questioning their move. And here is the dangerous part. They may try to pull you back with guilt, apologies, or nostalgia. This is not remorse. This is fear of loss of control. This is where you must not break, because the moment you return to the old dynamic without consequence, you erase your own transformation. You teach them that betrayal is survivable, even profitable. Machiavelli would say this is the point where princes are made or destroyed. There is a revelation hiding inside betrayal, and it is not about them, it is about you. You trusted because you value loyalty. You cared because you are capable of depth. You gave access because you believed in connection. None of that makes you weak. It makes you rare. The mistake was not trusting. The mistake was trusting without structure. This is the moment your life begins to make sense. From here on, trust becomes layered, not blind. Access becomes earned, not assumed. You stop giving people the benefit of the doubt and start giving them the benefit of observation. This is not bitterness. This is wisdom forged in pain. It's okay to feel this. The anger, the sadness, the clarity that hurts more than the loss itself. Let it exist without letting it rule you. Ask yourself quietly, not in public, not in anger. What did this teach me about my boundaries, about my patterns, about who I become when I want to believe someone is good? You're not imagining this. Betrayal changes you because it forces you to choose between who you were and who you're becoming. And here is the quiet invitation, not a demand, just a pause. If this resonates, if you've lived this moment, let it sit with you. You don't need to explain it to anyone. Just acknowledge it. Even writing one sentence about what shifted inside you can be enough. And if you choose to stay, to listen deeper, you already know why. You replay the memory one last time. Not to hurt yourself, but to release it. The moment you realized, the look, the message, the silence that said more than words ever could. And this time it doesn't crush you. It clarifies you. You notice how your body feels different now. Straighter, quieter, less desperate to be understood. You walk through your day with a subtle distance, not from life, but from illusion. You see people more clearly. You listen differently. You no longer rush to fill silence or fix discomfort. There is a door inside you that closed the day you were betrayed, and another that just opened. You don't announce your strength. You don't prove your growth. You let time and consistency speak. You let others reveal themselves while you remain steady. This is how power returns. Not in a rush, but in alignment. And somewhere deep down, beneath the pain, beneath the loss, beneath the memory, a new thought settles in. They did not destroy you. They refined you. You walk into the next chapter carrying less weight than before. Not because it stopped hurting, but because you stopped dragging it behind you. You feel it in your steps. Slower, measured. You notice how rooms feel different now. Conversations sound thinner. Promises feel lighter. You don't rush to agree. You don't rush to reveal. You watch. You walk into a room where their name might come up. Your body waits for the old reaction, the tightening, the heat, but it doesn't arrive the same way. Something else takes its place. Distance, not coldness, perspective. You realize how much of your power used to leak through urgency, through the need to fix, to clarify, to be chosen again. You feel your breath deepen, your spine settle. You don't need to announce your boundaries. They announce themselves through what you no longer tolerate. You notice the way people test you now. Small comments, subtle digs, requests wrapped in friendliness. You don't answer right away. You let silence stretch. You let them fill it. And they do. People always do. In that space, you learn who respects you and who only respected your availability. This is the new terrain. You're not lost in it. You are it. Curiosity replaces confusion. You begin to ask quieter questions, not out loud, inside. What does loyalty look like when it costs something? Who stays consistent when there's nothing to gain? Who grows uncomfortable when you stop overgiving? You keep threads open without tugging them. You let time expose patterns. You stop explaining your absence. You stop justifying your standards. And something subtle happens. People recalibrate around you. Some drift away. Some lean in carefully. Some reveal impatience, entitlement, or resentment. You don't chase clarity anymore. You let it arrive. There are moments when memory returns without warning. A laugh you shared, a plan that never happened, a version of yourself that believed harder. You allow the memory to pass through without grabbing it. This is important because power isn't pretending you didn't care. Power is caring without collapsing. You're allowed to want more, not louder, not bigger, cleaner, truer. You keep your eyes open now, not suspicious, aware. You understand that betrayal taught you timing, taught you pacing, taught you that access is not love and silence is not absence. You hold the unanswered questions like keys, not wounds. There is a rhythm shift here. The world speeds up. You slow down. Others rush to respond. You wait. Others overshare. You listen. The imbalance unsettles them. They start offering explanations you didn't ask for, apologies you didn't demand, stories you didn't need. You realize something dangerous. Most people don't betray because they're evil. They betray because they're afraid. Afraid of losing advantage, afraid of being seen, afraid of staying small. And fear makes people clumsy. This doesn't excuse it, it explains it. You feel the temptation to confront rise again, to close the loop, to hear them admit it, to say the words that feel unfinished. But you remember the rule, the one that saved you, the one Machiavelli would carve into stone, the one who explains surrenders the frame. You don't need confession, you need position. So you let the rhythm hold. You let time do what emotion cannot. You let consequences replace conversations. And the suspense tightens, not for you, but for them. They don't know where they stand anymore. And uncertainty is heavier than anger. You remain steady. The door behind you is closed. The door ahead is quiet, waiting. Somewhere along the way, others begin to notice the shift. Not because you announced it, because you stopped leaking energy. You stopped reacting on cue. You stopped being predictable. And unpredictability, when grounded, feels like authority. People begin to mirror your pace. They choose their words more carefully. They hesitate before crossing lines they used to step over. You don't correct them. You don't reward them. You simply remain consistent. This is how influence actually grows. Not through persuasion, through posture. You don't talk about betrayal anymore. You don't wear it. You don't weaponize it. You integrate it. It becomes part of your structure, not your story. And that's when it stops owning you. You understand now that loyalty is not declared. It's demonstrated under pressure. And you quietly design your life to observe that pressure without creating drama. You survive things you still don't have words for. This is one of the gifts hidden inside that survival. Discernment without bitterness. Strength without noise. And if someone new enters your world, they feel it immediately. Not fear, gravity. They sense that access to you is a privilege, not a right. That betrayal would not earn chaos. It would earn absence. That is the quiet standard you carry. The most dangerous thing about you now is not what you would do if betrayed again. It's what you would not do.